Biome, जानो biology दिल से. In today's video, we will discuss about the living world. The topics are written over here. We will discuss about today biodiversity, nomenclature, identification, and the binomial nomenclature. Now, if you think that in around us, the many living organisms are there, starting from plants to animals to dog to horse to monkey. Those are, we can see them with naked eye, with our open eye. But around us also many small minute microorganisms are there, like our small viruses, famous coronaviruses, many other microorganisms, many small fungus are also there, many small protozoas are also there. It's merely impossible to watch them under the or without a proper microscope. Without a proper microscope, we can't see them. We need microscope, and by our naked eye, we can't see them. Correct? So that means if we tell around us, the many organisms are present. Small macroscopic to small microscopic organisms, both are present around us. Now, if we think that this is a small area, think this is the area A and think this is a area B. Now you tell me, in this area, the number of the organisms will be higher. The number of the organisms will be higher, or in this area, the number of the organism will be higher. Definitely the answer is the B. Why? Because the number of the organism is also depend upon the geographical area. So here the geographical area is less and here the geographical area is more. So that's why the number of the organism will be maximum in this area B. Correct? Think about the small bushes or small jungles or small forest around your home, and think about the big Amazon forest where the species number will be the maximum. Definitely it will be not nearby to your home. Definitely the species number will be maximum in the Amazon forest only. Why? Question is that why? Because the Amazon forest, the area is more, but in that small forest the area is less. That means the number of the organism is varies depend upon the geographical areas. Depend upon geographical areas. So as we increase the geographical area, so as a result the diversity of the species, it will be also increase. Correct? Now you think that this is an area, suppose it is examined by any of the scientists or any of the biologists. Okay? And after 5 years, again you came back to this particular geographical area. So when this scientist or biologist calculated the species number, he got that the total near about 5,000 species are present in this geographical area. And again after 5 years you came back over here and you start reading the total number of the species or the living organisms present in that particular area. So definitely you will not get this number. This number will be increased or this number will be decreased. Generally this number will increase. It can be more than 5,000. It can be more than 5,000. That means what happens? Suppose if the any geographical area it's remain unaltered, or suppose if you study any geographical area after many years also, definitely in that particular geographical area the species number will increase or organism numbers will increase. Okay, so with that only, let's roll into the introduction of the biodiversity. So now if we come to the biodiversity, so what is the biodiversity? So the bio words is represent living things. Bio words it's represent living things. Now if we discuss that, as I told, around us many living organisms are present. Some are microscopic and some are macroscopic. Correct? Now around us near about 1.7 to 1.8 million species are present, or 1.8 million organisms are present in our entire world. Correct? So definitely they are not present in a particular area. So in around our world they are scattered in different geographical region. Now, so what is the biodiversity? So the biodiversity means the diversity exists between the species. That means the number of the organisms, number of the organisms will be different and different, correct? So that diversity means the diversity, okay, of flora and fauna. So flora means we already know, it means plants, and fauna means animals. So togetherly we can call them as organisms. So that means total number, how many numbers of the organisms are present in our world, togetherly we can call them as biodiversity. We can call them as bio or biological diversity, correct? We already know in our around our world particular mega biological hotspots are there where we are getting the maximum number of the offsprings, so or maximum number of the organisms are present in that particular geographical area, okay? Because there in that particular geographical regions the climatic factors, it supports the growth of the organisms, so that area particularly we call them as mega biodiversity hotspot. In ecology you will read those things, okay? Now so total near about 1.7 to 1.8 million organisms are present. Now around these organisms we need some things. So suppose a particular organism, its name might be different, correct? Its name might be different. Suppose in Africa name is different, in India name is different, in America the name might be different, correct? But the organism is same. Organism is same. Common examples I am taking. Suppose over here, as you know about the China rose, okay? So if we come to the China rose, so definitely it is an English terminology, but this China rose, it has some vernacular name also or local name also, correct? This is very important, a local name, correct? This China rose, its names might be different into different geographical region. Suppose in my area, this China rose, generally it's known as Java, correct? Okay, in Kolkata or in West Bengal, it's actually known as Java. But if we come to the out of the West Bengal, suppose if you think about the Jharkhand, Bihar, like that only, if you tell the Java, no one will identify what is the Java, is it? So they're different name. It's a Arul, okay? Name is different. So suppose if within that India only, the state to state, the name is going to vary. Somewhere its name is Java, somewhere its name is Arul. In some area different, it can be name will be different, correct? So there is a great confusion. So suppose if we didn't standardize anything, then what will happen? The particular for one organism, the different name will come. So what happens? Now the time came, there should be some standardization. Standardization means a particular name should be there. By that name, the organism will known globally. Okay. Suppose one name will be there. If you tell that names, okay, if you tell that name, so by that name anyone can recognize what it is. Suppose in America if you tell Java, or in out of India if you tell Arun, no one will be able to identify. But if you tell China rose, this name is globally accepted, correct? Because it's a English name, correct? So there should be some standardization. Now, due to that standardizations, we need some scientific name, correct? And the standardizations of the name is actually we call them as nomenclature. Okay, that means giving a particular standardized name to a particular organism. It's called as nomenclature. Clear? Okay. Now, with this nomenclature, another terminology is also there. It's very important. That is the identification. So, what is that identification? So, without identification also, the nomenclature is not possible. So, what is that identification? Suppose we got any organism. Okay. Suppose you think the organism X. So the X, it looks like whom? Okay. It looks like a human. It looks like an animal. It looks like any other plant. We have to find out that. Suppose this X organism it can't move. Suppose it cannot move. Okay, we are getting that one. It has some leaf, it has some stem. So that means, what is idea we are getting? That means this organism, X organism, definitely it's not an animal. Definitely it's not an animal. So what could be the possibilities? The possibility is that that organism definitely will be the plant. So how do we able to find out that this organism is a plant? So based upon few characters. What is the character? The motility power. The organisms can't move. We are getting some leaves, some plant stems. So that means these are the features of the plants. So this is called identification. Okay. And after the identifications, what is the name of that plant? We can give that name by the process of nomenclature. So what is the nomenclature? Nomenclature means giving a standardized name to a particular organism. It's called as nomenclature. But how it is possible? The nomenclature is possible with the help of identification. Without identification, this nomenclature will not be also possible. And what is the identification? That means we have to find out what is the features of those organisms, and based upon that one, we will categorize those organisms, and we have to give the name to that particular organism by the process of nomenclature. Clear? I hope so you got that. Now, the nomenclature. So if you come to the nomenclature, so as I told, there should be some standardized name. Okay, there should be some standardized name. Generally what happens? When you took birth, हम लोग के केस में जब हम लोग जन्म लेते हैं तो हम लोग का नाम कौन देता है? हम लोग तो अपने आप फिक्स नहीं कर लेते हैं. हाँ, अभी मॉडर्न जनरेशन में हम लोग देख रहे हैं क्या सब बच्चा अपना अपना नाम बदल लेता है. मम्मी पापा का दिया हुआ नाम पसंद होता नहीं है. सो हम लोग का नाम जो है मम्मी पापा फिक्स करके देते हैं. तो यहाँ पे भी जितना सारा ऑर्गेनिज्म है, ये सारा ऑर्गेनिज्म का नेम कौन फिक्स करेगा? ये भी एक चैलेंजिंग है, क्योंकि कुछ होना चाहिए यहाँ पे. तो यहाँ पे कुछ संस्था आया, जैसे तुम लोग जानते हो केमिस्ट्री में आईयूपैक. सो आईयूपैक क्या होता है? सारा केमिकल जो ऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल्स है, इनऑर्गेनिक कंपोनेंट्स है, सारा ऑर्गेनिजम्स का नोमेनक्लेचर तैयार करता है. सो हियर आल्सो few groups are also there. Definitely it's done by the some scientists or biologists. So those groups are there. Those groups actually fixing the nomenclature of the particular organism, and that is ICBN, ICZN and ICVN. Now what is the ICBN? So ICBN means International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. That means these are the groups, they are helpful for giving a nomenclature to plant. Okay, so what is the ICBN? International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. What is ICZN? So Z word comes from the zoology or zoo. So zoo means animal. That means these are the associations or groups, those are fixing the nomenclature for the animals. So this full form is International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Okay, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. And next is the ICVN. So the ICVN means International Code of Viral Nomenclature. International Code of Viral Nomenclature. These are the groups actually fixing the name of the viruses. As we know, the tobacco mosaic virus. So these names are actually is fixed by this ICVN. So ICVN is for the virus, ICZN is for animals. Okay, these are for the plants. So these are the groups are there. Those are fixing the name of the organisms. Either if it is a plant, it will be done by the ICVN. If it is an animal, it will be done by the ICZN. And if it is a virus, it will be done by the ICVN. As I told already, around us many small microorganisms are also present. So their name it will be fixed by the ICVN. Clear? So now let's move to the binomial nomenclature. So what is that binomial nomenclature? So bi means two. Bi means two. We already know. Bi means two. Now in this binomial nomenclature, there will be two terms. There will be two terms. So first is the generic name Okay, this is the first term, and second term will be the species epithet. Two names should be there, and by that only this name came binomial nomenclature. Now let's come to the few details of the binomial nomenclature. Who first proposed it, how this binomial nomenclature came, that we have to discuss in detail. Now if we come to the binomial nomenclature, now this is first discovered by or proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, now this Carolus Linnaeus first proposed it. Now here important thing is there. So the Carolus Linnaeus first proposed this binomial nomenclature, but this Carolus Linnaeus, this is not the real name of the Carolus Linnaeus. His real name was Carl von Linné. Okay, so that is his original name. Okay, so when he proposed this binomial nomenclature and when it's got universally accepted, he was so dedicated in that binomial nomenclature. So due to that, he also changed his name into binomial term, Carolus Linnaeus. Got it? He was so dedicated in that binomial nomenclature. Later he changed his name after the binomial nomenclature got recognition. So he also changed his name into Carolus Linnaeus. So this is also a binomial term. Got it? So let's understand some basic rule of the binomial nomenclature. So now what is the basic rule? So here I'd like to say the scientific name of particular any organism. Think about tiger. So tiger scientific name is Panthera tigris. This is the scientific name, correct? So first thing, what is the important things? First thing is that name, binomial nomenclature should be written in italics. So here I have not written in italics because I have written in bold. But when you check your book, please check the NCERT book. It will be written, suppose if I write the Panthera tigris. So there in book it's written like this. Okay. So in just a little bit in computer you are getting the italics font is written. So that's why like this only. Okay. So it should be written in italic words. Now first things, next thing is that the binomial nomenclature should be written in Greek. Should be written in Greek. Why? Because Greek language is a dead language. Okay, and once it is dead, and if it is used by any scholar, if it is used by any scientist, it can't be changed again. Okay, it can't be changed again. So that's why wherever the scientific names comes, and in your book you are getting the many Greek terminologies are also there. Why? Because it can't be changed by anyone. Clear? So this is not the features. Next is that one only. So if we are not writing that scientific name into italics, so what happens? We have to underline the name. Correct? As I have done over here. We have to underline the name. How? Not completely. Separately. Not completely. Separately we have to underline them. Correct? Now next is that in the binomial nomenclature, the first term, it represents genus of that particular organism. Okay, genus. And the second term, it represents the species. But the second term, it represents the species, and the first term, it represents the genus. Correct? So that means, what is the genus of the tiger? The genus of the tiger is Panthera. And what is the species of the tiger? That is the tigris. One species I have taken over here only. So that's the thing. Next rule is that the first letter of the genus, it should be written in capital. It should be written in capital. Correct? And in the next, the first letter of the species should be written in small hand. Correct? What I told again. So the first letter of the genus should be written in capital and the first letter of the species should be written in small. That means the first letter of genus should be written in capital and the first letter of species should be written in small. Clear? And now another thing is also important. Sometimes in some scientific name, after the species also we are getting some word like lean. So what does it represent? This lean word came from the author. So suppose if after this species name the lean is there, that means this name or nomenclature, it's represent the author who have fixed this name. So as I have written over here lean, that means this name fixed by the Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, clear? So that means another points also we can add over here. So the author name comes after species. Author name comes after species. As I getting over here, correct? If the lean word is there, that means it is discovered by or it is created by or formed by the Linnaeus. So the Linnaeus is the author. Suppose you have done, suppose Mr. X or suppose Mr. Roy. So Roy have done that one. So suppose after this Panthera tigris Roy, that means the Roy has fixed this name. So it represents the author of that particular binomial nomenclature. Clear? So I hope so you like this video today, and if you like, please don't forget to subscribe our channel and please like our channel. Clear? In the next video we'll discuss about the classification system and the taxonomical hierarchy. Till then, thank you and goodbye.